Hot micing, baby.
We hot micing.
We hot micing it, son.
Hey-o!
Hey-yo, hey-yo. The three best friends are back in the yayo. Are we allowed to say yayo in the first 8 seconds?
It's been a long time for me, but I still think about it every day.
We back, baby.
We back.
Well, actually,
We back.
oh, there it is. Crack them if you got
Crack 'em
them.
if you got 'em.
I'm gonna crack this A&W diet A&W I got over here. Crack them if you got them, son.
Ooh.
Man, I've consecutively, that's 2 shows consecutively that I was gone for.
Yeah?
Did you? I gotta ask you a question. Did you tune in?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear? I was talking a little bit of shit.
I didn't hear that. I tuned in. And
Oh, so he's sidestepping.
I tuned in and I let it run with no audio just to help the algo.
Smart. So I was actually saying,
I'll take that.
I said that I did say in our last episode that we do miss our CTO, our bandwagon boy.
Well, how's
one.
that talking shit though?
Well, at first I was talking shit that you were trying to feed your family and your second job's bullshit. This is our job. What is he doing with his life? So I went off about that. And then I said, you know what, AJ, we're doing our best here. Bandwagon Boy 2, but it'll be nice to have all 3 of the 3 best friends back in studio.
3 best friends that
There it is.
anybody could have. We're the 3
There
best
it is.
friends
Oh,
that anyone
the
could have.
handhold. There it
The 3
is.
best friends that anyone can have.
Okay.
No, it's good. It's good.
I was
does feel
on,
good.
I did some on the on location recording with our boy Barry Grant Jr. of the All Even podcast.
Where were you
Shout
guys?
out.
Where were
Shout
you
out.
guys?
Well, I don't know what part of New York.
Well, but just you were in
Yeah,
New
we
York.
were in New York. So I
Hey,
would've
that's
seen-
New York, baby.
Hey, it's New York.
Hey, forget about it. I got a question for you. Is New York as big as you imagine? Like, is it massive?
It's absolutely bigger than I imagined.
Really?
Because when you stand there and you look any intersection, it's just miles of tall buildings, and it looks like they just don't stop.
As many yellow cabs as one would imagine?
Not as many.
More Ubers now?
Yeah, probably more.
Uber
Ubers
games
now.
taken off?
Did you
Yep.
see any moments where like a kid pulled up to the side of the sidewalk to park, and a store owner comes out and goes, "Hey, you can't park here," and he goes, "Just keep it. I got love to find." And
Yeah.
no, nothing like that.
No.
Okay, damn it.
No New York love stories. I got yelled at by the pizza guy, which was. Like
I mean,
my
is
good-
there anything more New York than that? Getting yelled at by a pizza guy?
No, that was like the most. That was like a 9.3 experience from New York.
I don't know if there's anything more New York than saying you got. Did he sound like he was from New York?
Yeah. Hey, he's like, what are you fucking yelling at me for?
He said that actually.
I don't know if he swore.
What,
In my mind, he swore.
why was he yelling at you? What'd you do to him?
Well, it was
You
more
were
like
rude, weren't you? You said sorry or you said A?
I said A and sorry. No.
I'm sorry, A.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but you know what? It was a good trip. I worked a lot on the trip. Did a lot of filming, so we got to go to a lot of cool locations. But it's one of those things where when you're not a like tourist or just there, you don't really take it in as much.
You didn't enjoy it as much as you would possibly.
No. I mean,
I'm not saying you didn't enjoy it, but you didn't have time to soak in it.
Like the only time I kind of had to be able to go do my own thing was when Barry and I hooked up.
All Even podcast shout
Not
out.
sorry, no, we didn't just.
Whoa. How'd you guys find each other? Grinder or
Yeah,
what?
You're texting me and Barry hooked up.
Okay, so we got everyone back in studio. I wasn't gonna be here. I'm here. It feels good. It feels natural. Hey guys, some big news dropped today.
I know.
Some huge news. And before we dive into it per se, I'm gonna ask you guys: did you kind of hope we were gonna get Jalen Ramsey?
I hoped, but I didn't think we were actually going to pull the trig.
I was kind of like left just in the starting block. I was like, oh, we're doing this already? Like, I kind of figured moves would start happening Tuesday night, the night before
Not
free
Sunday.
agency. Yeah.
Not on God's day. You wouldn't expect it. Like,
No.
what are these guys doing? They should be doing something other than making trades. But I agree. You always kind of. I think I was grocery shopping and my phone went off about the trade. And it kind of the thing that was the most shocking is what he got traded for.
Yes.
I get the dude has a huge cap hit, but there's ways around that, right?
Yeah.
Like Miami's going to end up restructuring him, and he's going to count a lot less against the cap than his original 20 mil or 18 mil or whatever it ends up being. But what is the deal? So they traded their AJ, I'll let you take
Yep.
it. What is the actual deal that he got traded for here?
So obviously, Dolphins end up with Jalen Ramsey, and then the Rams get a 3rd-round pick and a young 24-year-old tight end Hunter Long.
That seems like peanuts.
And
doesn't it?
Well, here's another interesting thing: the Rams had 2 picks, and they lost their 1st-round pick in the trade for Stafford. So they have a 2nd round and now 2 thirds. At least gives them a 3rd round, 3 picks
in the first
3 rounds. There we go.
The Rams basically knew they're not battling for a Super Bowl this year.
They went in. And then they said, okay, because now
they won it. They won it a couple years ago. They went in. Yeah. So now this is the fallout. This is kind of a case study for the NFL, because the Rams were almost one of the first teams that said, you know what, fuck it, let's go all in. Let's trade for who we think we need. Let's make a run at this bitch. They got Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham, Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner was there, I think, a year late. But they went out and grabbed these certain players, these key role players, Matthew Stafford, right, to make a run. And what happened? They won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And glitz and glamour, but now what? The fallout a little bit.
The other interesting thing, and this was said before the Ramsey trades, the writing was on the wall when this was said, but I believe it was the owner who said that Kupp and Donald are the pillars of this team. So that means everyone else is expendable, or whatever the word is. Which is interesting, because in one way I think it worked out for them, because they did go all in. They won the Super Bowl. Now it's blown up. But if you tell me, okay, start a team with Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donaldson, or Donald, sorry. I mean,
and they still have their quarterback.
Yeah, and they still have that. Even if he might only be a really high caliber quarterback for 2-3 years, and then you try to find someone else. I'm just saying. That's they didn't do bad there.
For starting over, they're starting over with still 2 really good players.
Yeah, exactly.
3 if you count Stafford.
And the only unideal thing is, but then I guess it's a wash with the Super Bowl, is you lost your 1st-round pick here. Did they win? Did they win with Stafford?
Yeah, they won with Stafford.
Yeah, okay.
The year they traded all those picks for Stafford.
Right.
That's what I mean. They're the first team that said, fuck it, we're going all in, and they went all in and they won.
And on this, Adam, you might have been looking at us, but I'm going to take it. It's from the chat from Big Pun number 1. Shout out. He said, when people complain about Stephen Jones, remember the Eagles have $54 million in dead cap money. So this is the other side of the coin, where you go all in and it doesn't work out.
So,
and now,
but the only thing with the Eagles cap thing, that's shitty. But how many 1st-round picks have they compiled also? So I get it. They haven't really been trading a whole lot of 1st-round picks to get these dudes. Like, I think the Eagles, they have at least 2 in the top 20 this year. I think they pick at 9th and 18th or something. So the Eagles, it seems like they're in shitty cap hell, but they're still going to probably get 2 really good players on rookie deals on the draft.
First, they have the 10th and the 30th, but still.
I thought they had 1 higher than that. So, but still, two 1st-round picks.
Oh, then they also got the number 1 pick next year. They have a 1st-round pick from the Carolina Panthers. From Chicago. That pick's been tossed around a little bit of a dirty girl pick. But anyways, I know what you're saying though. They still have pick. They still have 2 picks.
But the Eagles did go. The Eagles did go all in, kind of, sort of.
Well,
they didn't win the Super Bowl.
But again,
but garbage.
they made the right move, and I hate to talk good about the Eagles, but again, as I came out and said, it's the fans that I really am disgusted with. The players I can't really hate on. They're out there playing football, and to be honest,
I hate them.
I hate them. Look, I still hate them. I'm just saying I feel okay saying this, in that they're in a good. They have put themselves in the great position by drafting Hurts and developing him, or allowing him to develop to the player that he is, where you're getting a fucking bargain for now.
But to break that,
but that's the point of the draft. It should be right.
Yeah, and I mean, and Big Pun saying that Bland has had better numbers than Ramsey. And it's like great. Bland
plays in the slot, or he's a slot guy.
But we can't just have 1 and 2 people. Like, you got to stack the depth there. That's where I'm.
My biggest argument, and back to the Ramsey thing, is, and I posted this on the Instagram. He got traded for a 3rd-round pick, right?
Yes.
So, and everyone always talks about these picks. Obviously, the reason the Cowboys didn't pull the trigger is more the money side of it, not the pick side of it. Think about our 3rd-round pick last year, Tolbert. You got McGovern, Gallup. These are guys that have all been picked in the 3rd round in the last 5 years. Are those guys better players than Jalen Ramsey?
Well, here's the funny thing, though.
The answer is no.
No. But the answer about the money issue, it really, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like
It's
the
moot.
debt ceiling.
It's moot.
It doesn't fucking matter.
They're gonna create space for
They're
him.
gonna create space. They just freed up $30 million with Prescott and Martin, and I didn't hear a peep about that I'm not saying that people didn't think it out, but no one was talking about that.
Yep.
Boom, it happens. It's like, whoa, there's
$30 million now. So, and that's what they're talking. The Miami Dolphins are probably going to free up enough that his cap hit, Jalen Ramsey's this year after getting traded for a 3rd-round pick, his cap hit's going to be around $4 or $5 million after they restructure.
Was it Jeffy who maybe had up a post that showed like the third round draft picks of the Dallas Cowboys? So, like, would you trade one of these guys for?
Then that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the way to look at it. And a lot of people are saying Jalen Ramsey's washed. I don't know. I think he's for sure going to be a Pro Bowl player next year. And then I think he's also probably going to push for a first All-Pro, second All-Pro type season. But let's move forward from that. We didn't trade for him. The Cowboys didn't trade for him for a 3rd-round pick. The Cowboys in the last few seasons haven't been very active. They haven't been active since they went out and traded for Amari Cooper. And at the time, he saved the Cowboys season. Amari Cooper, I believe it was in 2008, he saved the Cowboys season by the Cowboys going out and trading for him. So moving forward, like, what are you guys okay with us doing with our picks or with money? And what player are you guys willing to kind of push for? Because oh, there it is. Crack me if you got him, son. I'm in the full belief that with this defense and Dan Quinn, you're in it's a 1-year window. Dan Quinn might not be here next year. You're going to have Trevon Diggs, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb's contracts coming up with the next year for sure. Definitely CeeDee Lamb and Trevon Diggs. Definitely those guys' contracts are coming up. You got to start thinking, hey, man, do we just waste these guys' rookie deals again, or do we say, fuck it, get a guy in, maybe being a bit cap hell later on, still re-sign those players, and then still be able to make another run in maybe 2 or 3 years?
Well, the thing, but I also think that if you have that 1-year window, then they need to shore up a little bit more on the O side of things over defense. The defense wasn't our issue this year. Sans possibly having maybe another middle linebacker or a linebacker to help LVE, who we're probably losing this year. So, although the CB depth is important, Bland's gonna have a better second year, hopefully, than his first year. Get him a couple more reps in there. But defense wasn't really an ish. I think that's also why Dan Quinn was sticking around. Is he knows he still if you made no moves in free agency, which they probably won't because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But if you make no moves in free agency, we're still at a good spot with our defense.
So that's what I mean. So going forward, what are you guys thinking we do? Yeah, okay. Obviously, they're not taking defense as a huge priority. Maybe they do end up trying to target a defensive tackle in free agency, but I'm not seeing that. But so this puts us to the point. Are we going to trade a 1st or 2nd or 3rd round pick and try to go out and get that wide receiver that could elevate us to be legit Super Bowl contenders?
I think when I look at the top 101 free agents or whatever,
101 free agents
by NFL.com. So who knows? But who knows what order that would be on any other website? But the point is, there's like a consensus of sorts of like a top 100 free agents. When you go through that list, there's a lot of people who I'm surprised are free agents and on positions that we need: cornerback, wide receiver, safety. I think defensive interior was pretty light.
It's light,
but linebacker. Light. So, if the Cowboys play it right and get in there with offers that are early, but still you can pick up 4 people for like $3, $4, $5 million each, but they're all they're of the caliber of the players we have now, plus maybe a benefit of them being younger or maybe faster or stronger, whatever. Either finding a way to replace what we have that's going to be leaving, or upgrade it if you can for a cheaper price if you think so. That I think there's that opportunity for the Cowboys to do that. I really I haven't been, I guess, around long enough to say, oh, the Cowboy. I know that's their MO
story.
Yeah, that they just don't do much. But
I'll tell you,
I believe it.
They don't do much.
No.
I'll say this: last 10 years, they haven't.
there were some good signings that they did. Key one was Fowler, even though it was just a one-year deal. But
bargain shopping.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's opportunity for them to do that with a few players. But I think the interesting thing to do would be to pick a side on defense or offense to go heavy on, if it works out this way, and then line up your draft to pick up the other side. And maybe
so they have done that. They have done that, and I agree with you. That's it. That is a good way. I think you aim at one of these sides, which should be offense this year. You hammer that down. I know we've done in some of our mock drafts. We've talked about going running back, wide receiver, and then Jerry over there, Sultan, whatever he is, he goes defensive end.
Well, I mean, good defensive end.
Good defensive end, but I still think like even if that defensive end falls, I still think is defensive end really that big of a need that guy's going to put you over is a generational talent, or not even generational, but a very, very good talent at X position, like wide receiver, running back, or tight end. Like there's some good tight ends, there's some good running backs, there's some good wide receivers. What is a more important position for us before we even go into the draft?
The most important thing that needs to be solved, in my opinion, for having the biggest boom impact is a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Getting a wide receiver on the field who can catch the ball, stretch the play, or stretch the field. I know that Michael Gallup's going to be 2 years removed now from that injury, so we're going to probably see the better side of him.
You're going to see what he's actually capable of now.
But still, I still think it's like add more to that. And I would even like to see first and second round go offense. I know that might, but only because I think CBs are going to be there
later
in the third.
Well, I'm going to point blank ask you right now.
It could be reversed there.
Are we trading for a fucking wide receiver then? Should we go all in on this
we
were talking.
I think we should.
We were talking what would you do, and our range went from second round this year, second round next year, to a second round this year, fourth round next year.
Oh, if you could get a second and fourth for D-Hop.
We'll split it. Say second this year, third next year.
Man, if you can get a second and third, a second 2023 pick, and a third 2024 pick for D-Hop this year, and he's willing to kind of work with the team on his last 2 years of the contract, which who knows what that actually is or if that means anything by him saying that. That is a no-brainer. You're bringing in this guy that can route run, he can catch, he's reliable. If him and he's got grit, he's got attitude, you know.
Now you got Lamb, Hopkins, Gallup. I mean, that's the best trio in the NFL.
So that's what I'm saying. And then you could even roll that over to Stephon Diggs. Like
this loser.
If Diggs is listening,
that
was definitely directed at you.
That was just to get the soundbite out, baby.
But either of those guys at this point, I mean, even to me, a Brandon Cooks, if you could get him for something even cheaper, like a fourth round, it's still going to help.
I like the trade with Jalen Ramsey because it kind of set the bar in terms of star power, and the bar was lower than what I was expecting.
It's not like 2 first rounds, 2024 third round, and X amount of players, right? Like, I was pretty surprised. If you told me a week ago that Jalen Ramsey was getting traded for a third round and some 24-year-old tight end, I would have been like, oh yeah, well, let's get him.
There's a couple really interesting comments going on. And again, I just thought I fixed the comment thing to put them on the screen. Didn't, but we'll have it sorted. There's a lot of conversations going with Big Pun number 1 and EJ Savage. Big Pun number 1 says, brace yourselves for Kincaid or Musgrave at 26. Cowboys have 2 quality wide receivers. Cowboys will either sign OBJ or draft one in the third, is what he's saying.
It just better not be another Tolbert, man.
Yeah, well, that's what someone else said. If it's another Tolbert situation,
we'll pass.
I'm gonna blow my head off.
Yeah, we'll pass.
There's also they're not. This is an interesting take from D's boys. Just win. They're not trading a second for D-Hop to admit they was wrong about Cooper. So he's saying that the Cowboys aren't going to do the D-Hop trade because they'll just admit that they were wrong about getting rid of Cooper.
They should already know that they were wrong about Cooper. I mean, there's no one on this planet that doesn't think
they were fleeced.
They were fleeced. They traded. Yeah, I get it. You guys wanted to get rid of his cap hit, but you literally gave him away.
Yeah.
You gave him away. So I at this point, possibly that could be a reason, but everyone already knows that they got absolutely bent over on that trade.
Yeah, my bold statement about that pick is I would trade all of my picks from the 5th round back for an extra 4th round pick.
Oh, definitely.
Like
100%.
3 or 4
fifth and up is
just
you're really rolling dice.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awesome when you hit.
Yeah.
You get a Deron Bland, but the odds of that happening, and people actually get this kind of messed up too. Finding even good picks in the 3rd is hard. It's not the 1st is hard. Like it's not easy to. It's such a weird thing with all the stats and everything that the NFL has. Like with knowing all these super metrics, it's still the draft and the combine and selecting guys is still in perfect science. There's things that you can do that will give you better odds at finding a great player or a good player, but there's still so many busts and so many guys that don't end up going on to doing anything, and that's why we love it.
One of the other people linked to a trade with the Cowboys, and who knows, maybe this is just to get a good article out, but it's a LandryHat.com article by Jerry Trotta.
Hey, is that the official home for the Cowboys Can Fan podcast?
Absolutely,
The Landry podcast?
The Posick Hales.
The podcast?
We might actually show up here. Oh, how embarrassing if we do.
Oh, I would hate to see our faces on something.
But they bring up
sue yourself.
They bring up the possibility of Evans from Tampa Bay being a potential trade candidate.
See, I don't hate that either. I think you would probably get him for cheaper than a DeAndre Hopkins, and he's still that type of receiver we're missing. We're missing a big body guy that can just dominate cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And if you're only planning on having him be good for about 2 years, I think that's a perfect fit. I think there's, and you always hear this window that teams have, and it's felt like our window has been closing a little bit. I still think there's a couple years, but this is the time now.
Yeah.
This
you
is
don't
the time.
you don't plan for year 2 of the window. You plan for the next year and then hope that you get the
window's
year.
The window's still letting in a breeze.
Yeah, exactly. But continuing on though, it's moving on from trade talk, but into free agency talk. And there's another Landry Hat article. I don't know if
Did you say Landry Hat?
I said the LandryHat.com.
Is that the official podcast
Absolutely.
of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast?
Yes.
Hey, for those of you on the chat who haven't smashed that like button, go ahead and do so because Alex finally got the Landry Hat name correct.
Woo!
Home of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast, the #1 Dallas Cowboys podcast in North America.
In the world, I'd say.
And you know what? I did
world.
look online to try to find a
Landry
reason.
hat?
No, a reason for why I can't remember names. Turns out I'm just fucking stupid.
He's fucking stupid, bro.
Okay.
Soundbite's on point.
5 high-priced Cowboy.
Oh
See
my
what I'm
God.
talking about?
Now,
5
because Adam called it out that you've been doing very well with
I know.
enunciation and pronunciation,
I'm done.
you're done now.
5 high-priced free agents the Cowboys shouldn't be afraid to sign. I like this article because it's got the high price to it, which means it's probably not going to happen. But
Well, who do you guys think?
that's what I'm saying. So there was a lot of potential casualties from the Eagles I wouldn't mind fucking bringing over just because they probably are feeling a little spiteful, you know?
Well, the thing with the Eagles is they have Darius Slay they're talking about, but he's still under contract, so that'll be a trade.
Right.
Bradbury, I think he was one, but they did. They brought back Graham, a guy that I'm thinking when we look at this, the first guy that pops to my head, and another Los Angeles Ram or prior Los Angeles Ram.
There you go.
Holy shit.
I know.
Is this like The Last of Us? Is he infecting you with his stupid head talk?
I'm thinking Bobby Wagner, though. I think Bobby Wagner is a guy that we could possibly target. You could probably get him for a 1 or 2 year deal. Going past that, I have a hard time thinking of who we should go at.
Before we hop in, I just want to expand on that Bobby Wagner because there is the connection with Dan Quinn, right?
Exactly.
Now, what's Wagner looking for? Okay, he's looking for probably some good financial security, and you're gonna find that when you come to Dallas with a 0% tax on your income tax, I believe, or
It's 5%, but I think that's state. I don't think they have like
right,
federal.
Right. it's or only federal, no state.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's federal. They don't have state tax.
Canadians trying to talk about American tax. Canadians trying to talk American tax.
We get taxed like what, 22%?
But
30.
Total?
Oh, yeah.
30 in Canada?
I think I get taxed. Yeah, 30.
That's brutal.
Sucks. But
Move
the
to Texas.
Fucking kill me. Just fucking kill me.
But the other side of it is he does want to win a Super Bowl too. Another
Bobby Wag?
he didn't win. He came the year after.
He came the year
Yeah.
after. He got
So
one in
he's hungry
Seattle.
for
what the fuck am I doing here?
But he's chasing the dragon after his one in Seattle. Now he's chasing the dragon.
And I just think it's like Dallas is looked at as a contender. We've proven it. And especially it looks really good now because of all that young talent on defense. I mean, Bobby Wagner.
I only want I want Bobby Wagner because I want the King of the Hill soundbite. Bobby.
But totally. But that would be
That's like literally the only reason.
That's great.
But you made a great point about Dan Quinn. Do you think a reason, a possible reason on not re-signing LVE? Dan Quinn saying, "Get me Bobby Wagner, let go of LVE."
It's tough to say because they freed up this, and there was an article that went out. They freed up, and we'll get into AJ's article. I know this is
how we do.
At the Cat Fan Podcast, we bring up one thing and we talk about 40. But the one thing that an article came out and said is they freed up this space to try to sign their own guys. Which when I hear own guys, I think LVE, I think Dono Wilson. So there's. I would like to see them sign those guys personally.
Yeah.
But then let's get a little bit of Bobby Wagner action too. Like I would love that.
Baby, that's what we do.
We can talk about that later too because there is some potential more restructuring that can be done by the Cowboys to free up more space. But let's hop into this,
Let's get into it. Let's check it out. So this is the 5 high-priced free agents that the Cowboys could possibly bring in.
And we're starting with Jonathan Jones.
JJ.
Cornerback from previously from the Patriots there. Projected contract, 2 years, 5.5 milli average, 7 million guaranteed.
It's not bad. So this is the thing. You're going to go into thinking, well, they're saying it basically here. This offseason is no exception with Anthony Brown hitting free agency in Dallas, not having anyone that can fill his position. So that plays into that. Do you think you can upgrade for something that you probably would have to pay for Anthony Brown? And Anthony Brown would probably take that same contract, right? So if you can get a guy that you think is an upgrade, why wouldn't you do it? Well,
I think you do move on from Anthony Brown just based on age and the injury. If you can, Jonathan Jones, I believe, is younger, maybe not by too much, but
John Jones Bones.
Jonathan
Jones Bones.
But yeah, CB is a definite need. I would love to have CB solved in CB or wide receiver solved in free agency. That would make the draft really easy to determine which direction you're going to go in.
Whatever, and I think this is what teams do. They're either going to go with whatever they do free agency this next week. I imagine that shifts their draft focus to the opposite.
And it also like what we don't do, but what I imagine they do because I can think about it is that you plan for what you think the other team's going to draft too. So, there's going to be a bunch of wide receivers drafted before us, so we better get a wide receiver and then we can wait on cornerback. Or do we say, fuck it, we're going to get cornerback because we think we can wait because everyone's going to pick their wide receiver and we can wait now.
Yep.
So all that goes into it. And as the moves happen, which will be interesting to watch this year, with this in mind, but we can watch to see what other teams do and how that might affect the need for them to draft that player. And then that's going to definitely change the board.
Oh, for sure. Without a doubt. So 5 was Jonathan Jones. Next up, Connor McGovern replacement. So they're thinking a guard here. Ben Powers, guard from the...
Not sexy,
but it's kind of the pick that you want to shore up. They're saying 4 years. Ooh, I don't like it. To be honest.
Look, even a top tier guard, it's just as much as that would be great to have, there's other things that money needs to be used for. And $10 million a year, 4 years, I mean, it would be great, like I said, because if he is a top 3 guard in the NFL, okay, awesome.
It makes sense.
But I don't think we're that weak.
So I think you can, this is my thing. I feel like you can kind of, on your offensive line, if you have 2 to 3 amazing fucking players where Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. Those guys, Terrence Steele, that's number, bring him back, right? But then I feel like at center, Badass also, badass, still a really good player too.
He's not a problem.
He's not a problem. So I think at the left guard position, I feel like you could do something cheaper and you're not going to have terrible results.
Yep.
You're still going to be able to get by as a unit. Then, I mean, but at the same time, maybe go out and sign this guy and now you guys are running for 200 yards a game and no sacks. But I don't know. I'd like to spend money more on a wide receiver or even a tight end, to be honest.
Smoke weed every day.
Kilo sees in the house.
Kilo! On that, first of all,
I was like, AJ didn't even take a puff.
Smoke weed every day.
There it is. There it is. It's how we do, baby. It's how we do.
I like that he was looking at himself as he was looking at himself on the monitor as he was smoking it.
If one of those positions, cornerback or wide receiver, is solved, and you're able to, well, obviously you couldn't predict this because the free agency is going to happen first, then it would be okay to go ahead and put the money into that position, right? Because you could say, okay, what we were going to spend for that, we're going to put here now because we got it cheaper elsewhere.
Right.
But you can't determine that.
Are you guys spending money in free agency on a guard?
No.
We're not.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Moving on. Ad wants to, but
No fucking way. I would never do
we
that.
outweighed you. You're like you like the flashy positions. I know you're not wanting to put money into a guard.
No.
Yeah, I'm a D-Hop, Ramsey. I'm not going to put money into a tight end at all.
Bobby Wagner coming up next.
It's my bat son. He's all Hollywood and New Yorked out.
Bobby Wagner, I would too.
Well, let's say next new signal caller on defense. My guess is
Kellen Moore's coming back
to play middle linebacker.
I'm back, boys.
Tremaine Edmonds. Okay. So I'm not against this position either because I feel like a middle linebacker is more substantial to the whole unit as a guard is, right? Like a guard can blend in with the rest of the team and still be good enough as a unit. Whereas a middle linebacker, he's lining up your defense. He's in the middle of the field. He's the attitude of the team. So I don't mind us pursuing a middle linebacker and maybe spending a little bit of money to get one. And that's what you're doing here with $18.75 million average, $45 million guaranteed, $75 million total. That's a big contract.
It's a big contract. The one of the issues too, and if you go ahead, hey Murph, for audio listeners, Murph Dog just walked in.
He just rolled in.
He's doing his inspection as he does.
Yeah, he's checking it out, making sure we're live.
But if you go to Cowboys CanFan, CowboysCanFan.com,
You idiot.
/blog. We got some blogs there, and one of the things that we had a look at is the actual after the restructuring of Dak and Martin, how much money is paid out. The cap fucking hit for players. There we go.
There it is. You got her.
Woo!
Figured it out. You got yourself through it.
Hey, marijuana is a brain altering drug.
Marijuana is a gateway drug. You're gonna start with the marijuana cigarettes. Next thing, you're gonna be giving hand jobs to crackheads, Alex.
Well, you can also start with the ladder. And
yeah, you've reversed your rise of the drug ladder. You started with hand jobs to crackheads, and now you just smoke a little weed. I mean, that's
I think that's the way to go. But the reason I'm bringing this up is just to show, like, okay, I always look at it as like how much money can we afford per position, and maybe that doesn't make sense. But something that hasn't been brought up, and maybe it's because there's really nothing you can do about it, and DeMarcus actually already has in the past given us a deal. So
he did restructure.
No hate, no shade thrown on this, but just to give some perspective, the quarterback taking up nearly 12% of the cap, okay, that's reasonable. He's your fucking quarterback. Then we have DeMarcus Lawrence, D-end, 11%.
I'd like to see that in half.
Me too. But the other ones that are out of control, of course, are Ezekiel Elliott and Tyron Smith. And my point to bring this up was, if there's something you could do there, then this type of contract for Tremaine Edmonds becomes more...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you'd like to see Tremaine Edwards making what DeMarcus Lawrence, and maybe not even that. Maybe they shave that off a bit. There's a couple cats up on that board, like you said, DeMarcus Lawrence and Ezekiel Elliott, that something needs to be done with their play. And They were both very good for the Cowboys last season, but that's your top. Those are
Crack him if you got him.
crack if you got him.
Wow,
Those
you're going 3-1 for me right now. I gotta play. Yeah.
those guys are.
This is my final.
Those are two of your top 4 players:
I know.
Tyron Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, and DeMarcus. Sorry, 3 of the top 4 guys. I'm not going to say are deserving because they did it in their rookie deal, but something needs to be worked out so that we can get some other guys up on this team.
Okay, so I Big Pun number 1 is making a comment. Damone Clark will be our starting middle linebacker, and then it's Hobgoblin says if Damone Clark is our starting middle linebacker, I'll retire. I do think, and then Big Pun number 1 says they won't touch the D-Law contract unless they sign OBJ. I do feel like Big Pun number 1 is our boy Ultra Cowboy.
He could be.
I feel like I'm sussing Big Pun number 1 that it's Ultra Cowboy.
Okay, so you've called it out.
I've called it out.
We'll find out. And because he's not here.
And because he's not here.
Yeah, but where's the all caps?
It's the activity.
Where's the all caps?
It's the activity. It's the way he's saying certain comments. And his tell sign was that he said Poodle Cooper. And the only other person that I've seen say Poodle Cooper was our boy Ultra Cowboy. So Big Pun number 1, don't know who you are, but I'm sussing that you are Ultra Cowboy. I'll just leave it at that.
And if not, you're twinning.
And if not, you're twinning. I'm getting major Ultra Cowboy vibes.
But yeah,
anyways, sorry.
Anthony
missed it. I said that Big Pun number 1 in the chat. I'm sussing him out that it's Ultra Cowboy.
Ultra Cowboy is just he should be ultra disguised.
he does come in disguising.
He goes, Kincaid would be a huge weapon on offense, and then he goes, "That's me!" Exclamation mark. So I think he is saying it is him.
Okay.
I know my Ultra.
Well, bottom line though, linebacker, add it to the list of things that need to be dealt with.
It's a need, dude.
If
It's a
LVE
need.
is gone, are you comfortable with Parsons, Clark, and give me the other one, brother?
No, I'm not. Jabril Cox.
There we go.
No, I'm not. And
because Barr's gone too, probably.
Yeah, Barr's gone. So it is a huge need. But I don't like linebacker in the first round. I still have images of Bobby Wagner and his stupid fucking long blonde hair getting drafted. So I don't want us to draft. Pull up Bobby Wagner. Sorry, we're getting off topic here. They used to call him Barbie Wagner. Or sorry, Bobby Carpenter.
I was just saying Bobby Wagner.
Bobby
Carpenter.
What is he, Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man with the blonde hair? Like, gee.
So Cowboys. There he is. So the Cowboys drafted Bobby Carpenter with their first overall pick in, I want to say 2008 or 9. And his nickname was Barbie Carpenter.
I mean, I would take Barbie. I would take Thick Sunshine any day. Look at him.
He passes the CanFan eye test until he has to play football.
Yeah, give him a bit. Was he terrible?
Oh, he was so fucking bad, man.
Look at him. He looks like a Thick Sunshine.
He was terrible.
Number 54 though.
He was terrible. Good number. It was a great number, but terrible first round pick.
Big Pun number 1 says that was before Will McClay.
Way before Will McClay.
Hey.
Crack him if you got him.
For Barbie Carpenter.
Crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him. Crack him if you got him. Now we're also moving on to another position of need. Well, maybe not of need as much. I would say this is second tier need, but I push it pretty high. Tight end. Mike,
Gesicki.
Thank you, Anthony.
I got you, Bay.
3 years, 11 million, 33 million total. I mean, look, that's what you're going to pay for fucking Schultz.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he that much of an upgrade?
No, he's a downgrade from Schultz.
Yeah.
Huge downgrade. Speaking of Schultz, the Cowboys did throw a contract his way and he declined.
Yeah, he wants out.
Schultz ain't sticking around. He wants to prove that, you know what? And I don't want to feel like, I don't want to throw shade at Schultz, but I hope you fail.
No, me too.
I thought you were about to say, I think he can do it.
I hope he
trying
fails.
to suck his D right there for a second. Fuck him.
Look,
fuck him.
I say this a lot. And the writing was on the wall. As soon as he blocked CanFan, we knew he was out of Dallas.
He was destined to do bad.
He was on his way out, and that's the telltale sign.
Let him go.
Anyways,
I'm not hedging my bets on that motherfucker.
I wouldn't mind. Here's the other thing about when I look at wide receiver. I'm looking at a playmaker who can catch the ball. And I know there's a lot of argument of, tight end needs to block as well. Well, my argument is like, okay, for sure, but then just if he can't block, but he can catch like fucking Kelsey, then just make a scheme where that motherfucker's open
all
the time if they're gonna do it. And then they can't do it. And
The thing with Kelsey, though, is he can block also.
sure, I'm just saying, though, if
I
he
know what you
has that
mean.
receiving ability, and because I believe when I look at the offensive position, I look at you have receivers, then you have offensive blockers or defenders, and obviously a tight end can fit into both of those.
Yep.
But it's about getting targets on the field for the quarterback to rotate through. So just adding if the wide receiver isn't there, but say a Mayer or that Washington kid is available at 26, I don't hate that as a draft pick. I can understand the argument not to, but I don't hate it because it is filling a receiver position if you're looking at that
Him
tight
being
end.
a wide receiver.
Yes.
It's still filling a spot that you might be missing.
Would you be mad? Okay, so
right.
Big Pun number 1 saying Cowboys drafting a TE at 26. Go watch how Kincaid destroyed USC in the bowl game. Would you be mad if we drafted a TE round 1 if we picked up someone like D-Hops in free agency before that?
No,
I honestly wouldn't be. I'd be
I'd be all right
and
with
that kind of rolls into AJ. What AJ was saying earlier is stack one side of the ball. Like,
yeah,
if you get Hop and then you go and draft a tight end, it's saying, hey, we're gonna be an offensive juggernaut this year, right? And I wouldn't be against that because tight end's risky. The 26 overall pick is a little risky.
Yeah.
Whereas, is there going to be a top tier wide receiver at that point? We've looked at them. There are a lot of small guys in the wide receiver class this year where there is a bunch of units at tight end. So I don't know.
And I don't know how accurate that you can take the draft so far, but there is players that we've talked about. We've had EJ Savage, aka Will McClay. Talk about some players that show up in third round for both wide receiver and cornerback that have better promise than, say,
Tolbert.
Yeah, exactly.
All they have to do is catch 5 passes and start 2 games.
So are we gonna make a draft? Are we gonna make a draft board? I think we should make a draft board.
For the draft? Holy fuck!
I think we should.
Yeah.
So
we
have to go back and listen to the episode with Deathy and EJ Savage, and we're going to be doing another one. I think maybe this Wednesday it's supposed to be. Actually.
Yeah, Wednesday we'll be doing version 4. My biggest worry,
maybe Thursday.
My biggest worry about draft day is by the time the Cowboys pick at 26, we're all going to be wasted.
Oh God, yeah, because it's like they stretch day 1 out.
Yeah, day 1's like Adonai. By the time the Cowboys picked it, was
we were
night.
there.
By the time the Cowboys picked it, was nighttime. Adonai each spent $200 on
Bud Lights, and
$22 Bud Lights
and White Claws.
Yeah, and White Claws.
Could you BYOB or
we kept bouncing out. We'd walk out, and there was this little shitty convenience store where you felt like you were gonna get stabbed in. You could go in there and buy some tall boys, crush them, and then go back in.
Yeah. So we do that every now and then just to try to help.
Because it was free. The draft is free. You can go in and out as many times as you want. But they make money off of the food and the alcohol.
You're standing in Vegas. You were standing in a black top.
It was a parking lot. It was a giant parking lot.
That's just emanating heat back up at you. There's no shade. And the
bottle of water was $5.
So bottle of water was $5. And they didn't say that you could bring in your own
water bottles.
But then the second day, they're like, you're allowed bringing in your own water bottles. You just can't bring water in. So we would just chug water, and then we'd bring in a water bottle so that you could fill up.
They had a bunch of taps that you could fill up water. It was hot for us being from Canada. It was hot as fuck at the draft.
Remember the guy that passed out?
Passed out, smacked his head. Yeah. I imagine Kansas City is going to be a lot more favorable for the patrons at the draft.
But I mean, man, Vegas for the draft, it should be there every year.
So AJ, is this number 1 here?
This is, I guess, number 1 if you're going in reverse. Yeah. Javon Hargreaves from the fucking Eagles. The shit goals.
The shit goals.
3 years, 18.3 milli average, and 55 million total.
That's a lot of money too. That's a lot of money too. But he would shore up a need again.
Yeah, and again, it's these types of signings are not the ones that you want to do because it cripples everything else.
Yep.
It would be awesome, but you got to go for. We're looking for like 3A, tier 3A players or tier 2B players.
Fowler Jr., the epitome of that.
Man, that was not to bring it up again, but you did. That was such a good signing.
It was, man.
And I'm happy because we were stoked on him
from the beginning. We were stoked on him from the start. He was a Dan Quinn guy. He had some seasons where he was really good, kind of fell off a little bit. and then he came in with the Cowboys and had a great year.
10! A 10! A fucking 10!
Gentlemen, the
That
final thing I would just want to say about what happens in the free agency is I don't want to react too negatively to guys walking because
It's just part of the game.
Part of the game, number one, and the price has to be like if that player goes ahead and signs for something $5 million more than what would have made sense for the Cowboys.
What human wouldn't do that?
Better,
right?
like good for them. I just hope that there's a move to replace it, of course. But also, it's just that it's the name of the game. So,
well, and you got to kind of trust the team because even last year, Lael Collins left in free agency, and I was like, man, what are they doing? They're letting Terrence Steele start at right tackle. I was like, are you guys insane? But these guys see these dudes every day, or at least every 5 days of the week practicing, and they were confident that Terrence Steele was going to be better than Lael Collins, and he was.
Well, look at Randy Gregory was
another thing. I was mad about that.
A rude comment away from
us signing
him, and thank goodness we didn't.
Yeah, because then we had guys for a cheaper price come in and be just as effective. So it's a funny, the emotions at this time of year, especially the draft and free agency, because everyone's starting to get hungry again for football. So we hyper react over signings and we hyper react over the draft picks. And then you never know what's going to happen until the start of the season. That's what makes it fun.
It seems like last year's offseason was a lot. Like, I mean, we're only a month and a half in, but it felt like from the end of the year to the draft, there was like way more gap in time, and it felt like maybe the news wasn't hitting as much. I don't know. This year it seems like there's more stuff that's coming. There's more activity going.
I think we're buying into a different direction this season. We're growing as a podcast and as a YouTube channel. I think we're trying to be more invested in certain things. Like the draft, I don't even think at this point we had even really looked at anyone. So it might seem like more news is coming out, but you're right. Already Jalen Ramsey to a different team. There's a lot of big names that are already getting thrown around prior to even the free agency. So you might be right. Maybe this news cycle is just hitting a little bit quicker than 2022.
Preach,
baby.
And it's
go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe button if you're just showing up. Love everybody who's in there, minus the haters.
And if anyone else, if you're looking for us on any other platform, it's at Cowboys Can Fan on everything. Basically TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You type in at Cowboys Can Fan and our beautiful faces will pop up.
And if you're like, man, I just can't remember what you just said, just go to cowboyscanfan.com. It's all there.
Boosh.
Services. One more for the good guys.
Is Nate talking that?
No, I was just giving you some segue to bring up your next article.
Look, I don't know how much we're at the 47-minute mark.
Yeah, we'll run through this, but we'll run through this pappy and then we'll be out.
These Sunday episodes are supposed to be that quick hit fix.
Hey man, 45 minutes an hour is quick for us.
I think so. And if we do have time, there's one other thing that can.
Now we're going to an hour.
That could
hour
just
and a half.
Tie it. No. But I'll stop talking. Let's get into this.
Yeah, let's
Three
get into it.
potential salary cap casualties that the Cowboys could sign this offseason. So,
okay, so this is league wide then.
League wide. Let's see who the Landry Hat puts on the list.
Hey, wait a second. Is this the Landry Hat?
It's the LandryHat.com.
Is this the official home of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast?
Absolutely is.
Let's jump into it, baby.
All right, this is by Randy Guersey.
Looks like a good guy.
Zack
Griffin, cornerback. So they're really saying they're really pointing towards cornerback. And I think you can kind of go back into our argument with what we thought for the 5 potential free agency picks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, cornerback, if we could find someone that's going to upgrade us from an Anthony Brown, I'm sure the Cowboys will be all ears.
I think I do like a veteran on the building veterans on the defense and rookies on the offense, but then I do also love the DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
Trade.
tricky. You never know who's going to fit where. But yeah, Shaq Griffin, he's been decent. He's been a good player.
Yep.
Of course, we'll take him if he's cut and he makes up making sense.
Yeah,
Cowboys will be all ears, I hope.
Who's next?
It's a veteran here, a wide receiver, Adam Thielen, and this was also going on in the grid chat. If you like all sports besides the Dallas Cowboys, maybe you like basketball. I don't know if they talk about hockey, but it could be there
there's
too.
no hockey.
No one talks about hockey.
Yeah, they're going to talk about lacrosse before hockey.
But yeah, check out the grid. But we were talking about Adam Thielen being a potential
I wouldn't hate it.
Trade
Would you love
option
it though?
I wouldn't love it, but if you can get him for
D-Hop, Diggs, OBJ, or Thielen, who do you
well, I
want?
mean, obviously Thielen, but however the fuck you want to pronounce his
I
name,
think it's Thielen.
he's way down the list of any of those guys, but he's also going to be way cheaper than any of those guys.
You said Thielen?
I'm pretty sure it's Thielen.
You would go Thielen.
It's Thielen.
It's Hopkins to me, I think.
No, sorry, no. I'm saying his name's pronounced Thielen.
Oh.
Hopkins, that's a weird way to pronounce his name.
No, I thought Adam was making a bold prediction there, saying no, he's at the top.
No, I was saying Thielen. You're like, Thielen? Yeah. I was like, yeah, Thielen. No, I wouldn't pick Thielen.
Okay.
I had him in my fantasy, and he was like this.
He had a hurt year. He had a hurt year. I don't hate it, though. I mean, again, wide receiver is a position of need, and if anything else falls through, at least it'll show them. I do have a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth from last year's wide receiving free agency class that we tried to bring in and do what we tried to fix that position. So I just hope whatever the Cowboys do this year, it's a lot better than 2022 at that position.
I need something. I need some sort of like signing.
I need a banger.
Washington right at like the end of like just like it was like, oh, okay, we got tomorrow we're doing our opening it's our opening game. Let's sign Washington. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like give me something right now.
We want a banger. I want a banger where it's like, okay, the Cowboys are all in this year.
Let me bang, man. Let me bang.
Let me bang. Look, I want a pitcher, not a belly itcher, okay?
I agree. So next, potential LVE replacements. Another Shaq Thompson linebacker. So it falls back into the Tremaine signing of free agent. It's another position of need. And if it's going to make the Cowboys better, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and don't forget about running back either. I mean, I'm just adding to the list of problem or positions that we definitely need to shore up. Wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, safety,
Defensive
running
tackle.
back, defensive tackle. I mean, come on.
Offensive guard.
Suddenly we got the whole fucking team to fix here.
Kicker. Yeah, okay, you're not wrong, to be honest. So I agree. Those are all guys that, and it depends. Do we get LVE back or do we move on from them?
Yeah, and look, if LVE is going to come at a good price, I'm fine with bringing him back. He I think fit in nice with that offense, and he's serviceable. But if he's going to go up to whatever a
Dalton Schultz
hit,
money,
well, yeah, that's going to be equal to someone else.
I just can't imagine him doing the same thing he did last offseason and succumbing to a 1-year deal. He's going to want some sort of security.
Probably, yeah.
So,
and he played well enough that he's going to be able to ask for more. Someone's going to pay him
Someone's
more.
going to pay him. Someone's definitely going to pay him.
you're going to pay me money.
Give me the monies.
All right, the final topic here, if I can pull up our own Cowboys Can
I
Fan.
love it. I love it.
Weekly wrap
I
up.
love double dipping on ourselves.
Do you think you can get this done in 6 minutes?
Oh fuck yeah!
Okay.
6 minutes.
It's just a quick here.
Then
Would I bet on it?
No.
I probably wouldn't bet on it.
So there is some more restructuring opportunity for the Cowboys. $6 million with Tyron Smith.
Yeah, they can shave it a little bit more money off the salary cap. And $6 million, that's nothing to scoff at. That's a decent player. Like that's a guy that can get in there and still role play on either side of the ball.
Well, right now the Cowboys are at $12 million, I believe, a little over $12 million out of the cap. So that brings him to $18 million.
Even with that 30, with freeing up the 30.
Yeah, because they were 15
So bad.
or so much over.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, and I might be under. I'm just saying conservatively it's 12. I've also read that it's 15, but when I looked online at like whatever the
But it's not 30.
website is,
It's not 30.
it's
though.
not 30 million. No, but it put them under. Look, there's still more moves besides this one they could do
Right.
to free up even more. Think about Zeke Elliott. That's going to be $6 million if they cut them, or if they restructure, maybe it's something
even more.
even more. And no dead cap. And now you get Zeke, because as much as I have hated on Zeke, his value in the role that he does play when he's out there is worth it at a little bit of a reduced value. So
definitely.
let's say that they even just do this one move. Now they're up to 18 million. They do another 6 million. It gets better. Now we got $25 million at the, I'm estimating going into free agency.
You're stacking bills over there.
Well, maybe not going into free agency, but
but they'll still have money further down the road.
Maybe.
By the time that
Maybe
fucking
not.
everything's
Maybe
wrapped
fuck
up.
yourself.
Yeah, so then
And I don't understand. Do they also wrap up in salary cap in those numbers the estimated amount for the drafts for
Yes.
how much you're gonna have to? Okay, so
Yes.
that's already taken out.
that's already taken out.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
In the upcoming season, that's already they don't have to worry about what they're going to pay players. That's already added in there. Could you imagine it wasn't? That'd just make everything such a you would literally wouldn't be able to do anything in free agency until after the draft.
Yeah.
Just in case.
yeah.
Right? Or you could just completely you sign all these guys and then now you're not signing draft. Well, we spent all our money.
Yeah, because you got fucking Sorry, you got to cut your second, third, and fourth draft picks. All right.
Is that it, boys? We did it, baby! All right, the Camp Fan Podcast. We are doing these every Sunday from here until the season, I guess. I mean, we'll be rolling Sundays during the season, but we'll be rolling every Sunday. Next time you can catch us, we'll be live Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. CT, whatever that ends
CST,
up
baby.
being. Hey, thanks for stopping by for the bandwagon boys over there. Man, it felt good for all three of us to be back in the studio.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And your host, Anth Best over here. We out!
Peace!